Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Letting y'all know now, for those who are not familiar with Kpopsavant's Raw Talks, we're gonna get raw. We're gonna talk in a way that many people may not like, may be insensitive to. It's not to offend anyone. It's just we want to speak honestly. And with that being said, we thank everyone that civilly participated in the discussion that was on our reaction video, because it's nice to see that the ones that follow us are not pitchfork holders.
I'm assuming the ones that follow us do not send little, notes to the artist saying, you need to die today, fool. I'm assuming that we don't have these.
Because we let it be known that no matter what Zico has done.
Yes.
No matter what he's done, no matter what he said, death threats are not warranted at all.
No.
Block B already went through this type of nonsense a couple of years back, and my poor baby P.O. had to go in the hospital. Okay, I don't appreciate that.
It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary.
And no one learns from that sort of thing. They really don't.
They don't.
They really don't. But either way, let's talk. It's time for the raw talk that you guys have been waiting for us to put out.
And we're going to try not to make this too long.
About this.
It may. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll cut it up if need be, if there's some. Anyway. Zico, tough cookie. So, we actually did a raw talk prior. We did one right after the video, but we watched it and said, you know what, this isn't enough. We gotta really delve.
Apparently, we didn't even cover what everybody was angry about.
We missed some things. 3 points that we're gonna talk about, because we think these are 3 points that need some clarification. His use of the term, and I'm forewarning you right now, I'm going to use the word so that you guys know what I'm talking about, but I won't use throughout the entire video. Use of the word faggot, the Confederate flag, and the overall appropriation of gangsta / hip-hop / what everything people like to call black culture, which I will definitely get into. Those 3 things. That's what we're going to discuss as far as Zico.
And then I have some questions and then some suggestions that makes people think, wonder, am I taking this a little too far with my rage? So, starting with that famed F word. F word. We don't appreciate the word at all.
No.
Now, a lot of people assume that we had
no reaction to it.
Had no reaction to it, or we glossed over it. No. We knew that we were going to have this raw talk, so we kept our initial reaction of the video as that. And we don't appreciate the word at all.
No.
It is not a word that we feel needs to go in any vocabulary.
Ever
with anybody. Shouldn't be addressed to anyone in any way, shape, or form. It's just something that doesn't need to be heard. A lot of the discussions that we've seen, people are comparing it to the N-word. I'm not saying it.
I'll say it for you so you guys don't question nigga.
Okay.
Comparing it to that.
They're comparing it to that and the usage of that. And a lot of the comments that we've seen are, why is it okay for American rappers to do it and not okay for Korean artists to do it? Or it's amazing how when K-pop artists use the N-word, it's, oh, nothing, why are you getting so mad? But then he uses the F word and suddenly it's spiraling out of control. The way we feel about it is that none of it should be used.
Period.
And I think I comment on this with someone else, that it's not so much that it's okay for Zico to use the N-word or anyone in K-pop to use the N-word. I think the fact that that word has been so deeply implemented in the lives of so many people over so many years that it's kind of lost its punch.
Yeah.
For some people.
Yes.
However, when he uses the F word, which Cece brought up as well, that
I will explain to y'all
that the F word is kind of the same way as the N word. That is losing its meaning.
It's been reappropriated for other things.
Yes.
Because with the N-word, I hate it no matter what, because I never forget the history of it. So anybody calling me that, I don't care if you're black,
call me that.
white, anything, don't call me that.
Not my homie.
I don't use it. Even if you're my homie, you're not going to use it because that's why you're my homie. Because we don't play that. We don't play that. But that N-word went from something initially insulting to black people to something becoming a way to relate and say, yo, you're my friend, you're down, you're my buddy, you're this, you're that, or to be
it's
like, hey, you overboasting, whatever. Like I have a whole theory about how this word has been, but
what she's saying is that the N-word has been, the meaning of it has been changed.
But the same thing, I don't know where you guys are with it, but when I was young, the F word, that word, faggot, I used it so you know what I'm talking about, actually also took on new meaning. Initially, it was all about, you would call someone homosexual that word and it would just be like...
It's the worst word ever.
But somewhere along the line in school, it became a word to signify someone being lame, someone being weak, someone being a little bitch, someone being, I'm sorry with all these words because I don't use this.
But we have to see it.
But someone being a pussy, all words also that are incredibly offensive to anyway. It became
that's what
something.
The word is now.
It became something to insult somebody, not saying you're actually homosexual, but saying you're weak, you're lame.
And not saying that homosexual is an insult.
And because we're just telling you how it's progressed. We're not saying it's right, but it's a way to challenge someone's masculinity to the utmost.
And the way that Zico used it in the lyrics was pretty much calling out other fake idol rappers in the industry, saying you have a snapback fetish. I mean, that's all you are as far as hip hop is concerned.
You're lame. You're not embodying the
so
energy and the masculinity.
Them weak. He's calling them fake, lame, exactly like you said.
And
he's not using it as you're homosexual and therefore that's the biggest insult I could possibly tell you. Not the way he's using it.
It's not.
Again, we do not agree that he used it, but we want to try to explain the best way that we can for people that are the ones that are being extreme about it. That's what it's for.
Just giving you another perspective on it. Not saying it's right, just saying don't make the issue he's saying homos, because that's not what he's saying.
And it does not make him using the N-word any more appropriate than using the F-word. They're both equally not right.
Equally bad.
We really hope that they don't use them.
I would prefer everyone not use it.
Unfortunately, Zico is inspired by hip-hop music. He said it. Yes. The man's taught himself English. A lot of K-pop, we need to remember, is inspired by the very music that people claim that they wanted to get away from.
Yes.
And that is also another reason why, for him, using it, it's just whatever. Or for a lot of people who seem to not be as bothered by the song, that it's just whatever. Because it's the same stuff that we're used to listening to anyways. The only difference is that it's in Korean. But I think a lot of people have, along the way, those who were introduced to Block B first are probably feeling the shock. Because it's like, this is Block B's leader. Oh my goodness, this is what he's doing. For people that are aware of Zico's past, being an underground rapper, this is not new.
No.
It's not new at all. If you can find his older mixtapes, not just the ones that have Battle Royale and all stuff on there, if you listen to that, this was kind of coming. Not to say that it's right, but it was foreseeable.
Definitely foreseeable.
They listen to this music, and this is where they draw the inspiration from. They draw it from the pop side of it as well. They draw it from the rock side of it as well. It's not just hip-hop. It's not just the bad stuff. So I think we need to remember that as well when we start trying to say, American music is bad, black music is bad. We've got to...
Yeah.
We got to stop that.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because it's coming from a perspective that's way too narrow, and it lets me know that a lot of people aren't listening to all the music around them, because this stuff predates black music, it predates gangster music. This stuff has been leading and feeding from other music genres for a long time. So let's be careful about pinpointing, a certain aspect as if it was created just because of that one genre of music.
And look how influential it is.
Yes.
I mean, we know that the N-word and the F-word is not right. However, because it's been used so
and
freely,
because it's used everywhere.
And
I can't listen to a rap song without hearing it. I don't know.
Pretty much. I'm pretty sure.
Lord.
I don't think that Zico does not know the meaning of that word, but I'm saying that the way that he's using it, the way he drew inspiration from it, is because of
using it is because of how he's hearing it in the songs, though. In the songs, if you're listening to a Nicki Minaj song, Lord knows we all know about that song where she's talking about broke ass. When you're listening to that, are you thinking slavery? No, you're not.
No.
You're hearing it in the terms of the urban culture that is of today, and something just tells me that when these K-pop artists are using the word, they are definitely using it within the perspective of the landscape today. Is it right? Yet again, this is something I personally say no. It's not right for anybody to use it. That's how I feel. But
we are a minority.
But we are a minority within the group. So
within the group of people who don't like it.
So summing up, this F word. It has another connotation. It has another meaning. We don't want you guys to forget that other meaning exists. We're not saying it's correct. We're just saying it has another meaning. Keep that in mind before we launch into he's a homophobic blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Because that might not be the case. He is using the word ignorantly. It does not necessarily mean that ignorance equals racism or sexism or
and that
homophobia.
Is another, and actually continuing off of that, in our comment section of our reaction video, someone quoted an interview where Zico supposedly said that you guys don't like it when I say racial slurs, well then I'm just going to go harder because of that. However that it was phrased. And it bothered me because I was like, I know Zico didn't say this. And from what I've researched, because we spent quite a bit of time researching this, figuring out where this interview came from, trying to pinpoint it down on KBS where it was supposedly taken from, and it's non-existent, this interview. This legit interview with KBS, Korean Broadcasting, does not exist. So I want to also make people aware that not everything that we see so far online regarding that comment, if you come across it, may not be true. Because I've only found 3 supposed resources and none of them are official.
Correct.
And I've gone to KBS, not there.
So if anyone actually has an official link
to this interview, please,
because we
send it.
We like to see the proof in front of us before
because
we ever launch into
anything. It doesn't
anything.
sound like Zico. It really doesn't.
You must mention, she brought up a very good point along the lines of this F word about another song.
Another song, yes.
A song that came out.
And
a song that we all know.
And this is why, my next question, everybody, is, are we just being selective with this? Not defending Zico, but I truly believe that it's gotten to the point to where people know that it's easier to attack Zico and Block B
He's
than
already
to
been under
just...
fire.
Because he's already been under fire.
He's already been under fire.
If you don't know what we're talking about, a couple years ago, they were in Thailand.
Yes.
And this is when all the typhoons and all the natural disasters were happening. And I don't remember the quote, so I'm not going to say it, but Zico made a comment about it, trying to make the situation more lighthearted. And
it was
kind of blown out of proportion by Nick Kun of 2 p.m. And what I thought was pretty interesting about that was that when Nick Kun made a comment about Japan's natural disaster, no one batted an eye at him at all. No one said anything.
Few people did.
But
it wasn't enough for death threats.
He didn't have to shave his head. His group didn't have to go on a hiatus.
Yeah. One
of his members didn't have to go in the hospital because of this. And so I question if it's just a selective thing with Zico because, it's because he's weaker, he's not as big of a name, because Epic High recently came up with a song called Born Hater. We all know this song.
I'm a born hater.
And Mithra, in his part of the lyrics, calls his lyrics gay. He makes the comment. It's chogo gay rapper.
Gay rapper.
And I listened to the song.
Basically saying, yeah.
And I listened to the song, like, you know what? This song has more bitches and fucks in it than Zico's song.
But you know what they're gonna say.
And
swear words are not the same.
But he says gay. He calls his lyrics gay.
He calls the lyrics that people are putting out gay. Now, it's interesting because she brought this up to me and I was like, really? And I looked up the lyrics, and then on one site, the lyrics had no sign of that. And I said, are you sure?
So I replayed the song. She replayed the song. And he says it. I can hear it pretty well.
And then we look it up in Korean, and clear as day, it's written
in Korean.
Gay rapper. And I'm just like, interesting.
Because Tableau specifically said, I'm going to translate this album. Because apparently people are rewriting the lyrics.
Yes, they are. They are.
So we get on Zico about his usage of the word. But we don't say nothing about Born Hater at all.
Because at the end of the day, how Mitra is using that phrase is actually the same as how Zico's using it, except Mitra used the less offensive version, meaning the same thing, but Zico used the offensive, the one that everyone's like, oh, no. Meaning the same.
So is it a selective thing?
Is it the word itself, or is it the context, or is it the meaning? I'm curious as to what people, if it's just the word itself, and you're okay with someone saying, oh, look at these gay raps, versus look at these F raps. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious as to, because to me, if it's going to be offensive, it's going to be offensive on both sides. A lesser or greater degree of a word does not make it any better to me.
And this is why I personally just feel like it's easier for a lot of people who are especially anti-fans and people who are dead set on just being angry on the internet.
Yeah.
It's easy to attack Zico.
Yes.
You're not going to come at the epic high. Tableau already went through his crap. He put everybody wrong. You're not going to go after him, but you can go after Zico. It's easy. If we're going to do this, let's be all on one page. No, yes, no, because I mean the Born Hater was getting gift and photo set left and right.
People love it.
But
love some Born Hater. And yet, I'm just saying, his context,
it's both the same. I really just think that that's just something to think about. That's something
to just sit down with yourself and go, hey, why am I okay with this version but not okay with that version when actually they're saying the same thing? Just question that for yourself. Mm-hmm.